and he's in the clear. Now, let me just read you something. Between the wars, people say, why do Blair and Bush lie so much? They don't lie so much, they lie all the time, and there's a reason for it. It is because they are lying constantly, because they are giving constantly cover stories to justify the secret agenda's introduction. That's why they're lying all the time. This came to light between the wars. It was called Propaganda in the Next War, and it came out of London, not surprisingly, where a lot of this stuff gets orchestrated from. Not Tony Blair's government, I'm talking about the Center of the Secret Society web. And one of the congressmen held this up and said, what the hell is this about between the wars? And nothing was done. Well, this is what it said. To persuade her, the United States, to take our part in another war will be much more difficult, so difficult as to be unlikely to succeed. It will need a definite threat to America, a threat, moreover, which will have to be brought home to every citizen before the Republic again take arms in an external quarrel. The position will be naturally considerably eased if Japan was involved, and this might and probably would bring America in without much further ado. At any rate, it would be a natural and obvious effect of our propagandists to achieve this, just as in the Great War they succeeded in embroiling the United States with Germany. Fortunately with America, our propaganda is on firm ground. We can be entirely sincere, as our main plank will be the old democratic one. We must clearly enunciate our belief in the democratic form of government. Have we heard this somewhere before recently? And our firm resolve to adhere to the old goddess of democracy routine. The whole Pearl Harbor was to bring America into the war. 6 years on, before 9/11. Oklahoma revisited. That's what 9/11 was, and then some. They blamed it on Timothy McVeigh. Not saying he wasn't involved. But unless the laws of physics were suspended in Oklahoma that morning, a fuel fertilizer device in a Ryder truck could not have caused that damage. I'm not saying that. Bomb explosive experts are saying that, like retired Brigadier Ben Partin, who spent a lifetime in explosives and weapons development in the United States military. He wrote a 500-page report, sent it to every major media outlet, all the people in Congress, saying that there is no way in the world that a fuel fertilizer device, which was only 1,400 pounds to start with, and then it got bigger, the bigger the gap of credibility. The last time I heard it was about 7,000 pounds. It's amazing how you can change the size of a bomb with a press release. It's incredible. And as he pointed out, the only way, and there are other reports to support this, the only way that building could have fallen is with devices on the pillars inside the building. And how kind of funny, as some of the people that lost children in that bombing have been witness to, when they brought their kids to see them for the last time to the nursery there, that the bomb squad were around that building in full bomb squad gear an hour and a half before the bomb went off. And it was completely denied until the number of witnesses made denial completely uncredible. And they said, oh yeah, but it was a training exercise. And some brave journalists, and there are some journalists out there, real ones, working on the local television stations in Oklahoma, and I've seen the tapes. They established, first of all, that there was footage from the videos around the building, the business videos and the street videos, surveillance videos, that showed the Ryder truck being parked and showed not one man in it, a man who looked like McVeigh, but also a guy that became known as John Doe 2, and those tapes have never been made public. First of all, the FBI said we can't under national security. Then they said, we can't release them because it will affect McVeigh's trial. Now, if it only showed McVeigh, you play them at the trial, game, set, and match. Okay, see you in the bar. They didn't. And now they're saying they can't ever release them. Why? If it just shows the story they're asking us to believe. The other thing is that in the official story, McVeigh came with a guy and sussed out the building because he wanted, the official story goes, to attack the Bureau of Alcohol and Tobacco and Firearms in America that was involved with the Waco slaughter a few years before, 93, wasn't it? And so he wanted to attack them on the anniversary, and that was the official story. Well, why did he park the Ryder truck about as far from their office in that building as you can get when he could have parked it closer? If he had been sussing the building out, how come that morning he drives the Ryder truck into a garage, what they call in America a gas station, petrol station, and he asked the guy the way to the Murrah building, so connecting himself, the Ryder truck, and the Murrah building in one sentence? Why, when he's just blown 168 people away, does he say it's a fair cop gov, even though he's armed, when he's stopped for a driving offence and arrested? Why was he arrested? For the same reason that for no reason Lee Harvey Oswald was arrested or attempted to be arrested in the theatre that he ran to after he was supposed to have killed Kennedy but didn't. This led to a massive increase in surveillance and control of the people. Within 24 hours of this, Bill Clinton was calling for an easing of restrictions on the military's involvement in domestic law enforcement, all of which has been advanced as a result of 9/11. And interestingly, you could easily find out what caused that explosion in the Murrah building. All you have to do is get independent experts to analyze the rubble, and they'll tell you basically where the bombs are and what they were. Instead of that, that rubble was taken away by a company called Controlled Demolition Group, and it was put under armed guard behind a fence, guarded by an organization called Wackenhut, which is run by CIA and FBI operatives, and Wackenhut is absolutely there with the Bush family. And as a result of that, independent experts were not able to establish what caused it. Why? Because the official stories are nonsense. And this is something I've found over the years as little kind of telltale signs. When showing us something or letting us hear something would support the official story, we see and hear it. When something, seeing or hearing something would destroy the official story, we're not allowed to see and hear it. Big red flag that in the way that they operate. Therefore, Tony, can we see this intelligence report about the weapons of mass destruction? Oh, no. Why? Of course we can't. Now, to understand 9/11 is to understand the backgrounds of the Bush family. I mean, they're not just George W. Bush. They go back a long way in this manipulation. This guy is called Prescott Bush. He was an executive of a company run by a guy called E. Edward Harriman. Prescott Bush, not just highlighted in my books, but by others, and there's a guy at the Holocaust Museum in Florida called John Loftus who's gone public on this also. The Harriman organization had a company called the Union Banking Corporation, the UBC, which was basically run by Prescott Bush, the present president's grandfather. And in the run-up to the Second World War, this company interfaced with the network of a banking and steel magnate called Fritz Thyssen in Europe. They were basically locked into the UBC, both of them. And so through the UBC, vast amounts of money was funneled out of America from the Illuminati families like the Harrimans and the Bushes and the Rockefellers into the coffers of the German Nazi Party to be used to do what they did. Interestingly, how many people realize that when you talk about race purity and all this stuff with Hitler, Hitler's race purity expert was called Ernst Rudin. He occupied the whole floor of a university doing his racial purity insanity. That was paid for by the Rockefeller family in America. There are no us and them in the Illuminati. They just do whatever's necessary to bring something about. He was also involved in two other companies that were shut down when the war started under the Trading with the Enemy Act because they were Nazi companies.